What up, though, y'all? This is the next episode in our Hunter x Hunter series, episode 3. If you haven't yet, definitely be sure to check out the previous 2 episodes. The first episode, we go over why we're even doing this in the first place. Obviously, it's an old anime, even older manga, but we seen news that Hunter x Hunter is going to be coming out later this year, or at the very least, possibly, if things continue to fall through, which things tend to do with this series. But so the first episode, we kind of just went over Gon, his background, and then the Hunter exam. Last episode, we went over Heaven's Arena and got into the Phantom Troop a little bit. This episode, we're going to be getting into York New City Auction and Greed Island, also referred to as Green Island. I'm just gonna call it Greed Island. Um, excuse me. So after Heaven's Arena and Gon and Killua um, conquer that part or whatever, we see Karapika. He goes to the temp agency. That's the term I couldn't think of last episode. The temp agency, and he learns that he also has to learn Nen, so he finds his Nen teacher. He then gets this job as a bodyguard for this daughter of a man who was part of selling his clan's eyeballs. So he's just trying to work his way closer to the Phantom Troop and everybody involved in that situation. He ends up being this bodyguard, and it turns out that um, he has to be a bodyguard for this daughter, and she wants to go to this auction in this city on this date. Um, when it also turns out that Gon and Killua are actually going there too, because they had gone to back to Gon's place, and Mito, not Minato. That was a funny mix-up from the first episode. But Mito gave Gon this gift from his dad. So this gift is kind of like a test in its own, and it's like a voice recording from him, and it talks about how he figured that Gon will try to be a hunter. So there's this box, and they toy with the box, they figure it out, and it drops out this game cartridge. And it turns out that this game is Greed Island, but they need the game system for this game. Turns out this stuff goes for a whole bunch of money. So that's what sends them to the auction. They're trying to win this old system. Well, it's actually not the game, it's a memory card with the game save file. So they find out that at this auction, they're going to be selling the game system in the game to be able to load up this game save. It's like a memory card or whatever. So that's the purpose of Gon and Killua being there. Leading up to this auction, the Phantom Troop is also planning on robbing this auction because it's mad valuables. It's just a money heist essentially. So we have these 3 big parties linking up at this auction house on the same day at the same time, and this just leads to Karapika getting his first Phantom Troop body. So I'm not going to tell you who it was, but I mean, even that is kind of a spoiler. But I mean, there's so much other stuff that happens in this show. The reason I'm even comfortable bringing it up because it's still worth watching this fight. Um, we see how deep Nen can actually get It's not just to like, ooh, create the bungee gum like Hisoka, or just to use it as a defense to pick things up, or it's not just for like that back and forth. It gets there's like a extra level or two or three or four to it as well, where you can there's just other ways to work it. And that's kind of what Karapika filled out, found out, I should say, not filled out, found out and used with his powers and his attacks that he figured out. So it's cool to see where else Nen can go other than just like another basic little fighting tool. Um, so that's one of the major fights in the series history, I would say. Not just because it was a great fight, period, but because you got to see where the fights are going to be going throughout the rest of the series once we start to see more high level Nen fights. So this leads the Phantom Troop to not only rob the auction house, but this makes them just go crazy. This is referred to as the Phantom Troops Requiem. So if you haven't seen anything that we've gone over so far, you've more than likely seen something from this scene. This scene alone would probably get 9 out of 10 people to watch this anime if they were on the fence. 10 out of 10 people, in my opinion, unless you just don't like fighting type animes. But if you like fights and stuff like that, um, looking up the Phantom Troop Requiem, yeah, definitely check that out. I watch it just here and there just cause it's just an amazing scene, an amazing sequence. It's only a couple minutes long too. I know it's on YouTube, so definitely look that up if you're thinking about what this show has to offer. This is just like a small taste, but is also probably like a top three, top five scene in the whole series, in my opinion, easily. So they get the game system or whatever, and one of the Phantom Troops. There's actually two systems, I believe, that go up for auction. Gon and Kilo will get one. The Phantom Troop get another. And if there wasn't two, I'm pretty sure there was two. But if there wasn't, then the Phantom Troop ended up copying all the pieces, anyways. Just like there's one of the people that have an inability to like copy stuff. So they essentially made bootlegs of everything that was up for auction. So that way they could get like a cleaner getaway with stuff. But regardless if there was two systems or if Goni Killua got a clone or the bad guys got the clone, it doesn't really matter. The Phantom Troop end up loading up Greed Island and going into the game, and Gon and Killua do the same. And it turns out you have to have a Nen ability to even access this game. So this game is essentially only for hunters or people who have been able to access Nen and study Nen as just a separate martial art on the side of life. They can access this game as well. So they get into the game. The object of the game is to get one of every special piece in the game, and that's what allows you to beat the game essentially. But since this game has came out, the fighters or players, I should say, have gotten into like a stalemate where there's people can't get can't beat certain parts in the game or haven't figured out certain parts in the game to be able to access these last few pieces that people are missing from their book. So it's kind of like you have a spell book, I guess we could call it, and you have to summon it to be able to do attacks, to be able to do certain actions in the game. But it's essentially all utilizing Nen. So as Gon and Killua go on throughout this game, they meet essentially who helps them hone their Nen skills, Bisky. And she's like a super high ranked hunter that was just been playing this game. I forgot for what exactly she's playing it for, but luckily they come across her and she has them do nen training throughout this whole thing. So we get to see them obviously do that and kind of what leads them to even that point to where she finds them and sees that they're worthy for her training and stuff like that because she's like a big deal hunter and whatnot. So that's kind of what we see in Greed Island, just that progression, them just getting stronger, them problem solving, figuring out the Nen stuff, figuring out kind of what it means to be a hunter and that kind of stuff. Then the Phantom Troop, towards the end of their progression, we see them kind of meet up and stuff. And again, like I've stated in previous videos, I don't want to get into too much detail. I'm just kind of giving vague things about each part in the show just to remind people or for people that haven't seen, just to get them interested and get into the show before we start to get these new episodes into the series. Um, but yeah, without detailing the whole thing, that's essentially what Greed Island is about and how the characters went from just doing whatever they were doing to get to this point. So this is character and just kind of overall fighting development for Gon and Killua. We get to see Karapika get closer and closer to his dream in capturing and getting revenge on people who killed his whole clan of people. Um, and I'm I don't think Leorio meets up with them at this point at all. But yeah, Greed Island, it's a long arc. It's really good though. Easily top, I would say top three, at the very least top five arc in the whole series. It's just really good. I don't know. It's a cool game once they like break it all down. The game of Greed Island, um, and yeah, I would say that that concludes this for sure. Because what happens after this, that's gonna take up a whole episode. Um, so yeah, just stay tuned for that next Sunday. Apologies for getting this out later today on this Sunday, but next Sunday, 6 a.m. Eastern. That's when I'm trying to get these dropped. But yeah, that's all, y'all. Take care. Peace. Oh, hold on. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share these videos, turn on the alerts, trying to spread this stuff. But yeah, more content is gonna be coming. I plan on dropping next Friday, just like a whole different series. Not 100% locked in on which one I'm gonna go over, but there's definitely a couple in mind. But yeah, just one more of these Hunters to go. That'll be next Sunday, and then gonna be dropping every Friday, just other pieces of anime content. So yeah, just stay tuned. Peace, y'all.